Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamerdad, with another video for you. So, in this video we're going to take on EX3 of the Trial of Burning Rage Extreme version. Again, just like the two previous waves, a lot of fire zone resets and a lot of enemies all weak to water. And so again, we're using the same team. You can see our front four is exactly the same as before. Just watch out for the ogres, same thing as before. We can blast this one down with a nice 2-turn AF. We want to really establish all our buffs and debuffs. So we're going to use Guardian Soul, we're going to have Trishula, we're going to stack everything here and make sure everything is good to go. Don't forget that AS Sheila does help us with some dual debuffing. Now the problem is that these ogres do have an HP stopper, and I believe they have 2 HP stoppers. When they are done, they will counter with AF attack on their own, in which case it kind of takes some damage, and just watch out for that. Now, these ones aren't nearly as lethal as some of the other challenges out there. It doesn't auto-kill you. I believe it does half your max HP. And so, even at the quarter mark, it will have another HP stopper and another counter for half your HP. So you really need a move or moves that heal in between those attacks. So we're relying on AS Foreign to do the Pierce from Heaven and give us some HP back. Also, keep in mind that the ogres can actually afflict statuses. I believe they can either do single target stun, pain, and so on and so forth. And that can get really ugly really fast. And so I would recommend Moon Realm gear for all these stages, just in case, because your front four do not have the ability to remove any statuses at all. For most boss fights, I actually prefer Moon Realm gear over other gear that, for example, increases attack or attack power stats and stuff like that. The sheer reason only because RNG unfortunately does play a role in a lot of these boss fights, especially through multiple waves. Even if you plan properly, sometimes, for example, your pain doesn't land, or the enemy's speed happens to be slightly faster than yours, or your sequence of moves and aren't 100%. So you do have to account for that, and to mitigate some of that RNG, you will be using Moon Realm gear. Like I said, in my case, I also use things like speed gear, speed weapons, and those help kind of allow me to kind of time who acts first, because really we want AS Annabelle to be among the fastest on our team. And the reason for that is by establishing water zone right up away, it helps counter the enemy's fire zone, especially since some of the enemies are extremely fast. I will also say that part of the reason I like AS Annabelle is if you do an AF, when you do 3 of her Hail Kingdom attack, which is the Aegir Saber that's changed name during the AF, it gives her up to 3 stacks of power and speed, and you need those speed stats at certain points in either this stage or even other types of boss fights in order to kind of outspeed the next wave. And so I really do like that move about her. But of course, I'm just using one team comp. There's plenty of other team comps out there that can do the job. Note that not only that, Ogre Baron at the HP stopper does slow down your team, and I believe the ogres in the first wave can slow down your team as well, the one in the far back as opposed to the one in the far front. And I guess if you really need to mitigate that, there is some debuff resistance, Grasta ores you can use, I guess, as well. Alright, so moving on. Note that we still have the speed down, and so we really relied on having 3 stacks of the speed up, because what we really want to do in the case of Ogre and Korm is, if you can, you have to outspeed him so that you can establish fire zone first, and then not only that it helps mitigate damage from fire, it also allows your moves to power your AF bar more quickly. I believe that with Ogre and Korm, if you activate AF and he survives, he will take away your AF bar permanently for the rest of the boss simulator, battle simulator waves. So keep in mind that do not activate an AF either right before in the previous wave or during this wave, unless you're planning to kill him. Like, if you kill him, he can't take anything away. But if you don't kill him, he can steal your AF, and actually your AF bar will literally disappear, and therefore you cannot use it. So that is going to be a huge handicap, and you really don't want that. Okay, in our fourth and the final wave of EX3, we are facing down with Suzaku. Keep in mind that his human bodily form is not nearly as tanky as his large form. It also has an HP stopper, and so what I did is I actually barred right there and then, because they're going to reestablish Fire Zone anyways, and so we just want to make sure we have the 3 stacks of speed and power on AS Annabelle. Again, her job is not really to do much damage, but just to make sure she establishes Water Zone and Pain Sense as well. And we can finish off with 1 Rosa Espina, and that's the end of that. This one is a little bit more tough than the first 2, although since I'm using the same team, I got really used to kind of playing around with it. So the only real restriction here is 15 turn limit. Otherwise, you can use whatever units you want, and you do get a couple of gear for your troubles as well. I believe these are very similar to the other gear we got from the water stage. I think those have either extra resistance to I forgot which element, but yeah, it gives you some resistance there. And so, hey, another piece of gear for each of those helps with the collection. And of course, if you're short and you make it to the next level, you get a gold badge and some extra chrono stones. Grasta is exactly the same as our previous 2 stages. Didn't have to switch it up, and yeah, using the same team, it looked pretty straightforward. Again, Akane AS was really just there to carry Grasta for AS Shigeri. Okay. Thanks for watching, and good luck on these fights. Certainly can be a lot of time. We'll see you next time.